Hey, I'm about to do a plague heart. Do you mind coming in and helping me real quick?
Yeah, let me get in right now.
Sweet. Thanks, man. Wait, what? Are you gonna help me or are you gonna not help me?
I'm trying! Hey everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Indigo.
And I'm Krug.
And today we're going to be talking about State of Decay 2 and our opinions and thoughts about it after playing it for about a week.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with State of Decay or State of Decay 2, we did a video on kind of what the game is, what it's trying to accomplish. You can watch that by clicking it in the description below, and then come back to this video and we'll tell you whether or not you should buy it. We decided to break this video down into 3 sections. The good, the things that we actually liked about the game. The bad, the things that we didn't enjoy about the game but aren't like crippling, and then the unplayable garbage in the game.
I super thought you were gonna say the ugly.
Nope.
First, let's go over what we did enjoy about the game and what we liked about it. The game is very pretty. It is very well rendered. I really enjoyed like the different characters and how randomized they are, and some of like the just like general like information about them.
Yeah.
Like I had a person who used to be a high school mascot, and like
Little random, okay.
yeah, it improves
cool.
group morale.
Yeah.
Like, and so like information about your like the past of your characters is kind of fun and very interesting.
Yeah.
The level of mobs that exist, like the different types of mobs, it's at a good place, I feel. Like
Yeah, for now, I think like that could grow over time.
Absolutely.
Maybe like different areas, not necessarily taking every kind of zombie and putting them in every possible area, but like unique zombies for unique areas, like special military ones if you ever end up in a military place. That's all speculation and like desires.
that's requests.
Yeah, for now,
I think it's at a good point.
It's at a relatively good point.
Absolutely.
The game is actually pretty challenging. Like,
Yes, oh my gosh.
At the beginning, you kind of like, okay, the zombies are slower than me. And then as you progress through the game, you start to get a little bit overwhelmed with the quantity of zombies. And then you see your first special zombie. This one
Screams and brings in
yeah,
other-
that's the first one you encounter is the screamer, which stuns you while it's screaming, and as it screams, summons a ton more zombies because that's what noise does in this game. As you get further and further, you eventually meet the Charger, who ruins days for a living. That's all he does.
This shit, I'm out.
Pro tip, if you walk into a house, the Charger can't get to you and you can just shoot him.
The noise mechanic, speaking of,
Yeah.
is very, very interesting. I like the idea of not only your base, like the more people you have at your base, the louder and the more often you're going to be attacked. I also like the fact that you have a quick and a normal search option.
Yeah.
When you search quickly, you have a higher chance of making noise, which calls other zombies.
Like sometimes there's no benefit and you just do it because you're impatient, and then it makes a loud sound and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot there are consequences for my actions. I'm gonna not do that anymore. And I think the skill system's good because you level up this skill, and then when you max out the skill, you get to specialize, and it gives you not just like a quantitative bonus, but it also gives you a qualitative bonus. Going from no experience to first specialization is usually huge. You can't sprint or move faster when you're sneaking without specializing. So it's like you feel really bad, honestly. The characters feel like gimped if you don't have any specializations, and then you get to the point where you have like that quality of life thing almost, and you feel super strong. And it just feels good to me. Like, I like it. Next, we're gonna talk about the bad. These aren't things that break the game for us, but these are things that just kind of, there's room for improvement.
Yes.
The special zombies sort of just feel like Left 4 Dead clones. They're very unoriginal and uninspired, and I think they fill their roles really well, but there's nothing added here. The developers didn't really do anything. And the two that you can't match are, one, the armored zombie in this game, which just doesn't take damage from bullets. And then there's the plague zombie, which gives you the plague. And that isn't so much a unique zombie as it is a story-driven mechanic. Yeah, it does have its consequences, and it does, change the way that your character plays around those zombies, but the consequences are so easily mitigated. Like, you just take a different health bar of damage, and when it gets to a certain point, you stick them in a bed and wait. There's also inventory management, which is kind of a mess.
And by a mess, it's garbage.
Non-existent, I would say. Let's just take your supply locker, for example. It has tabs, right, that sorts things by like melee weapons and ranged weapons and stuff. And the guns tab, and this is the most egregious example, your guns and your ammunition are just jumbled together, and you have to go and find the gun that you want and then highlight it, and then it'll highlight the ammo that goes with the gun, and then you put them both in your inventory.
Now we're gonna go over the unplayable.
All right, let's start super basic. You disconnect a bunch. Just for
Constant.
no readily apparent reason. I think we know what that issue is, actually.
Yeah.
That's the Toledo driver, or Torito.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what it's, I'll put the word here. That driver has caused a lot of headaches for us.
Yeah.
We had one friend specifically who I had to like sit down and like remote into his machine and like edit his registry and stuff to get it to work, which is super unacceptable. Like,
Oh yes. Oh, especially for a game that was promoting and highlighting this aspect of the game.
yeah, if you're gonna do something like that, the methods that you use to implement that sort of like peer-to-peer connection need to be user serviceable. Not everybody has an IT friend that's comfortable doing stuff like that. And some people might be comfortable and shouldn't be comfortable and will just break their computers. I'm not like, that's gonna happen.
No, I'm with you. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Finally, you've gotten connected with your friend.
Finally.
You're in their game. You're playing with them.
And now everything's perfect. Nope.
Except for the fact that while you're in their base, you're unable to see a large portion of their items that they've built.
Yeah.
Like you can have an infirmary. Like I was in Krug's game today. I went to his base and I was like, dude, is this a brand new base? He's like, no, I've built it up. And I'm like, where's your infirmary? Oh, it's outside. And I'm like, dude, there's just a circle with like red dots. I don't see anything. He goes, no, I built it. Walks over to my computer, sees that it's just red dotted lines.
And then we can walk over to my computer and very easily physically see the infirmary.
And then there's a weird bug where if someone crouches, they like
Yeah,
go
sink into the ground. The flashlight for remote players doesn't actually work. Like I don't know what it is, but I think the source of the light is like dipping in and out of your own body.
When you have a bat or whatever, or you move your arm or your character move, like the shadow moves.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, hold on. And then like sometimes your character will sway, like if they're like have blood plague or whatever. The light doesn't sway, but the shadow sways in front of
the
it.
The shadow that shouldn't exist. You could be on a completely empty road with your light pointed straight at the ground and it'll look like there's a tree in front of the light. And the reason that that's so game breaking in my opinion is because this is literally the darkest game I've ever played. And it's not like dark like, oh, this is scary, like spooky dark.
No.
This is like, I need to see an optometrist. I can't actually strain my eyes hard enough in order to make things out.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want to like bump the contrasts up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
because that makes the morning thing. Because in the day it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And then at night they were just like, hey, you know all this work we put into making this really great environment? Let's just make it so you can't see any of it.
Yeah, and even when you have your flashlight that's this big, walk around, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like
the flashlight gives you like 2 feet of light.
Yeah.
And I get like when the zombie apocalypse happens, there's not going to be like streetlights on everywhere, and like it'll be dark, but it's a game, and I need to.
I mean, to that caveat,
see.
there won't be light. As someone that does lighting for a living,
sure,
there won't be light pollution.
Okay.
Which means we will see a lot more stars and moonlight, which means it will be brighter.
You know why this is a long episode? Because I'm mad. The last thing, I promise is the last thing. In-game voice in this game is actually the worst implementation of voice that I've ever seen in my entire life. You can't change the way that you receive voice. You can only change the way that you broadcast voice. So I can turn my voice all the way down, but when he joins my game, keep in mind, he's 4 feet away from me. I don't want to hear him in game. He is audible in my ears.
And loud.
And loud. And not just loud. It's like garbage quality somehow. Like I don't understand. But that's fine. I don't want to use it anyways. And so I go into my settings and I mute him because there's no way, again, for me to just globally say I never want to hear anyone's voice. And we're cool. And then I leave the game and he leaves the game and we go about our lives and we come back at a later time and start to play again. And when he gets into the game, I can hear his voice again. Why? Why can I hear your voice again?
Do you know what makes it worse?
What?
It also happens when you get disconnected, which is a common occurrence.
If you would please refer to section 1A, where we discuss the fact that disconnects are not an uncommon occurrence.
And then he comes back in and, oh my God, shut the f*** up. All right.
No, I'm not done. I hate you, Microsoft. I hate everything about you.
If you were going to rate it from 1 to 83.5.
Okay, I wouldn't rate it between those two numbers. But if I were gonna rate it between 1 and 10, a 5.5, 6 at the most. Like,
all right.
The game is fun. Honestly, there's lots and lots of fun here, but in its current state, I couldn't possibly give it a higher score. It is not ready.
Okay.
However, a lot of the things that we're having problems with are very easily resolved problems.
Yes.
They're software problems. They're not inherently like the way that the developers were thinking problems, except for the voice thing. F you guys. That having been said, I think it would be really, really a trivial task to bring it up to like a max score after fixing all that stuff in 8. But right now, no.
See, I out of 83.5, I would give it a 62.625.
Okay, we learned our lesson and I pre-did the math for this. That's a 7.5.
I think that it deserves a 7.5 or a 62.625 because the solo player aspect of the game is fun. The multiplayer is where you're having issue.
Correct.
The game wasn't a full price game.
Yep.
I'm only looking at it as a solo player game with the option of multiplayer.
Sure.
I think that the fixes for multiplayer, if they did them, it could go up to a solid B, even a low A. The only thing that's keeping it from having just solo player wise like a B, there isn't an end game.
Yeah.
It's just keep your survivors alive,
Yeah.
move from one base to the next, to then empty those areas out until you've built your base up, and then move to the next base.
Sure.
The multiplayer stuff is garbage, but the main aspect of the game is the solo player game aspect of it.
See, I bought it for the multiplayer. I am not interested in playing that game by myself, you know? Like, by myself, that game is repetitive. With
Yeah.
my friends, we're making fun of zombies as we smash them with doors.
Either way, why don't you guys head down in the comments and let us know what your score is between 1 and 83.5.
Or 1 in 10 if you have a brain.
While you guys are doing that, why don't you also hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the bell icon so you can get the notifications.
Yep, and if you hit the bell icon, your electricity at your house is free for life.
Nah, well, none of those things are true. While you guys are doing that, why don't you head over to Twitter and have a conversation with us? You can hit me up at IndigoQT.
You can get me at QueueTimes on Twitter. You can also reach both of us at the same time at _QueueTimes. We've been GameGorgon. We will see you guys next time. Tomorrow.